Good evening. The state pension has increased, but it's less than half the rate of inflation, leading to questions: what difference will it make for older people? Charities say with 150,000 pensioners in Scotland already living in poverty, more help is needed. Here's our senior reporter Gordon Cree.
At the Ladywell Neighbourhood Network in Livingston, it was the weekly film club today. They were watching a musical, but the talk of their energy and food bills was more of a horror story.
I would hate to go to the stage where I just could not afford to have some heating on. And that's the way it's looking.
I noticed last week some of the things were up 50%, some things were up £1 a time, so it's... So I've just starting to watch now what I'm buying.
The increase in the basic state pension works out at £4.25 a week. Not much in and of itself, but with the price of almost everything rising relentlessly, many pensioners, far from being better off, will end up poorer. Hundreds of thousands of pensioners are living a week-to-week existence, and that, campaigners say, needs immediate action.
One of the things that can happen in the very short term is putting more money in people's pockets. It's something that the Chancellor should really be looking at doing, and ditto the Scottish Government, looking at within the powers that they have, which are they're quite substantial, but putting more money in the pockets of the lowest income people in Scotland. We've had some one-off payments, this kind of cost of living kind of boost that we've had, but it's pretty modest compared to what people are actually facing.
With the Chancellor and his wife facing continuing scrutiny over their multi-million-pound family tax affairs, those here today questioned how decision-makers so removed from financial struggle can possibly relate to their concerns.
People around the country have never understood what it's like to be on the poverty line or just be managing, because they don't have to bother about that. In both governments, they don't really know what it's like to live like so many people. I'm not just saying pensioners, just people in general who aren't in high wage brackets. They've always got to be watching how they spend their money.
With people's spending power being further squeezed, that anger will be hard to shake off. Gordon Cree, STV News, Livingston.
Scotland's NHS paid £236 million for bank and agency nurses in a single year. That's according to figures published by Scottish Labour. There are currently more than 6,700 nursing and midwifery vacancies across the NHS and care sector. The body representing frontline workers says the job needs to be made more attractive to boost numbers.
We need to work with Scottish Government and others to make sure that we do everything we can to retain the nurses that we've currently got. And that means both paying them well and making sure they have the best conditions. They've had a horrendous time, both in the NHS and in the care sector.
I think there's a genuine question about how we reduce that agency staff bill. But please remember also the last 2 years have not been normal. We've had to get staff from wherever we possibly can to help with the really significant pressures that COVID has hit us with.
A man's appeared in court charged with throwing a bottle at a Celtic physio during the recent Old Firm game. 32-year-old Alan Crawford from Falkirk allegedly assaulted Daniel Friel at Ibrox on the 3rd of April. He made no plea at Glasgow Sheriff Court and was granted bail. The Scottish Government is no longer providing daily COVID-19 statistics. Instead, updates will be published online on Public Health Scotland's daily dashboard. Scotland has recorded more than 4,000 cases of COVID in the past 24 hours. Now, the roar of pipes and drums and a sea of saltires took over the Big Apple as thousands gathered for annual Tartan Day Parade. It's a celebration of Scottish heritage and culture in the States. Our reporter Laura Alderman was in the thick of it.
This might look like a scene from Scotland, but don't be fooled. This is thousands of miles away on the streets of New York City.
Happy Tartan Day!
The annual Tartan Day Parade celebrates everything about Scotland, and this year it was led by Inverness actress Karen Gillan. She's the second female Grand Marshal in its 24-year history.
Is that true? I'm the second. Oh, that's such an honour. That's really cool. And I'm just, this whole thing is like really, really exciting and like Yeah, it's just really cool to be in one of my favourite cities in the world celebrating my home country. I had seen a lot of pictures and it did look really amazing. It's something that I honestly would have gone to, so the fact that I'm getting to lead it is completely insane.
The Tartan Day Parade started in 1999 and has grown and grown ever since then. Now thousands of people from America and all over the world come to see this. And it's the first parade post-pandemic.
I feel great. I mean, we pivoted quickly in 2020. We made a virtual parade together. Then 2021, we did the same thing, another virtual parade, but it's nothing like today.
There was a poignant show of solidarity with Ukraine, watched by onlookers from New York and at home.
We came to New York to sample a bit of America and now we're sampling more of Scotland.
I think that Scots should do this. We should be celebrating our culture back home.
A lot of people in America have got like, a lot of sort of cultural connection to Scotland, and it's like you hear about it, but when you see it in the flesh, it's like quite cool. So.
I think it's really fabulous. In America in general, I think the Scottish are very well regarded. In New York in particular.
Tartan Week is back with a bang. Next year's parade will mark 25 years of showcasing Scottish spirit in the Big Apple. Laura Alderman, STV News, at the Tartan Day Parade in New York City.
And finally, a Falkirk man is celebrating winning £1 million on the National Lottery. 76-year-old barbershop singer John Wallman said he plans on using the money to buy a new house, but first it'll be a holiday in the sun. Well, that's your late news. Now Philip has the weather.
Expect a heavy downpour. TUI Blue Hotels, sponsor STV Weather.
Hello there. Well, as we head through the rest of this evening and overnight, we've still got this band of rain continuing to work its way north and eastwards. Some heavier bursts in the mix, could hear the odd rumble of thunder and also see some hail. Once that clears through though, things are turning a little bit drier for central and southern areas, but there's still a lot of cloud around, so temperature wise not dropping too far. Lows tonight for most towns and cities of around 5 or 6 degrees Celsius. Now looking ahead to tomorrow, a grey, somewhat damp start to the day. By mid-morning we've got this next feature working its way in from the southeast, so it does mean another wet afternoon to come. We could see some heavier bursts too. Despite this though, temperatures for most areas remaining above average for the time of year, highs of 12 degrees. By Wednesday we've still got low pressure dominating our weather out to the northeast, so further showers across the far north and northwest. Here across central, southern and eastern areas though, the best chance of any drier conditions. Still a lot of cloud around with highs of 14. Bye-bye.
TUI Blue Hotels, sponsor STV Weather.
Well, that's all from us here. Colin's up next with Scotland Tonight. Have a lovely evening.